Alright everybody, Rodwave recently dropped a new album. I have seen the numbers are going crazy, as well as the beats and songs on the album is actually sounding amazing. Super beautiful sounds, super melodic. So in this one I'm going to show you guys how you can recreate the same exact sound from Rodwave's album, all from scratch in FL Studio. So let's not waste any more time, let's just jump straight in. Alright, so we're now here in FL Studio 21. First things first, we want to pick a BPM. In this one we're actually going to go for a bit of a faster BPM, so I'm thinking something like 165 to 170. Once we have this, we obviously want to open up our first instrument. In this case, we're really going to go for that melodic piano type of sound Rodwave is very well known for. So let's just open up the keyboard section in Omnisphere and let's just pick a standard grand piano. We can obviously mess around with the different piano presets and so on later on, but just to lay down our foundation, we're just going to start off with this normal grand piano. The scale we're going to be working in is actually going to be D minor. And then before we start laying down our main pattern, we want to make sure to have a super emotional sounding chord progression. So since we're working in the D minor scale, we're just going to start off on a D note right here. We can extend this out 2 bars right here, copy that over and pitch it down by 2 semitones so it goes down in a downwards pattern. And then we are going to do the same thing over here, and we can also pitch this down 1 semitone. Then we're just going to copy the D over right here and we're going to pitch this down by 2 semitones. So we have it go from the D to the C, so it goes down in a downwards pattern. Now the next thing we're going to do is just copy the whole thing over, but this time we're going to pitch it down by 5 semitones. So the third note should be on the A4, but for this last one we're actually going to pitch it down 1 semitone above the A right here. Now this is pretty much going to be our root notes, so we also want to copy the whole thing over and pitch everything down by 1 octave. And then we also want to make sure to have a triad chord on every single one of the notes. So to do this, you're just going to skip 1 highlighted note and put 1 note above it. Do the same thing again, skip this one and put a note right there. So we're going to do this for every single one of these. So now we have a triad on every single one. On the end here, we kind of want to have an upwards pattern, so I'm just going to half this right there and just bring back the triad from the D. Now we have this. Yeah, it really has that emotional vibe. Alright, so we pretty much have the foundation for our emotional vibe. Now the next thing we want is to get that melodic sound out of our piano. So the way I personally like going about this is to just copy the C over here, but we're going to copy it up 2 octaves. So we're going to have it start on the D7, and then we're just going to make sure to highlight it and move it slightly off grid so it sounds more realistic. This is crucial for every single one of the notes. Now the next step is just to add some top notes, and the key is really to delay them a little bit later. And you also want to make sure it flows nicely over the whole counter melody. So you don't want to copy paste each bar over and over. You're going to have a smooth and different sounding pattern for the whole thing. So we're just going to lay down something like this and build off of it. So to really build off of this, you also want to make sure to stack some notes. So in this case, we're just going to cut both of these and make sure to strum them out so they don't hit at the exact same time. And then again, we're going to do kind of the same thing for the second part. Remember, you don't want to copy paste it over because then it's not going to sound natural. So we want to do something in a similar vibe, but make sure to use different notes. Alright, now that we have the whole pattern, we're also just going to copy the whole thing over and remove this top part. So we have one part with the top melody and one without as well. The next thing we're going to do now is just add some quick effects to the piano just to clean up the sound. Alright, so for the effects, we're actually going to keep them very, very simple. And the reason for this is because we don't want to overdo it with the effects, as it's going to give the piano a unnatural type of sound. And remember, for these Rodwave type of beats, you want the beats to be as authentic and realistic as possible. So what we're going to do for the effects is just going to be 12% on this roam right here, a little bit of EQ just to clean up the piano sound. Then we also have a J37 for some more saturation, give that piano a bit of color. And lastly, we just have an imager to widen out the sound. Alright, the next sound we're going to add is going to be an electric guitar. I personally don't have an electric guitar to play, so I'm just going to open up this preset in Arcade, and we're going to use this exact sound right here. But the electric guitar really has a dry sound to it, so I'm definitely going to add some effects and an amp to really enhance the whole sound of the electric guitar. Alright, so for the effects on electric guitar, I'm just going to add this preset right here from Guitar Rig 6. You just want to make sure to turn off these 3 effects, and you can also mess a little bit around with the volume on the distortion sound. The next thing I added was just a little bit of roam to really give it that ambience, a simple ping pong delay, and also this EQ right here. So now the piano and the guitar together sounds like this. That's fire. the last things we're going to add is just going to be a quick bass and a few textures in the background. For the bass, we're just going to use the Scarby bass in Contact and just lay it down on the root notes of our piano. So I quickly just went into my texture kit and added these two right here. Alright, the last thing we're going to do to the melody is just add a few vocal one-shots here and there when we don't have the guitar playing. So remember, we don't want to have the vocal phrases, we just want to have a few one-shots. So something like this should work. And then we can just add a few more here and there throughout the sample. So now with the vocals but without the guitar, the sample sounds like this. That's crazy. And the ending as well. Right now with the sample finished, let's quickly add some drums. As for all the drum sounds I'm using, they are of course coming from my Mirage Multi Kit. So if you guys like any of the drum sounds you hear in this video, you can obviously check out the kit. It is on my website, which is BBMarko.com, or you guys can just click the first link down below. We just want to start off with a simple clap pattern. Remember, since our melody is so melodic, we obviously want to keep the drums super simple. So for the hi-hat pattern, I'm just going to drag in a simple sounding one. And then we're also very easily just going to fill each two-step and just add a few rolls here and there. Remember, don't overdo it. Keep the drums super simple. Let's add some snares as well. Then we'll just have the kick pattern as well. Just layer that with an 808. Alright, now that we have the drums done, let me quickly just arrange the whole beat and I'll show you guys the final thing. Okay, so I just built this out very simply. Just have a 16-bar intro right here. Drops in with the bass. Melodic part of the piano as well. Then it drops into the drums. Only have the chords right here. Then we build it up with the guitar as well. Over here, just some simple stuff.